Hello, welcome to Fabulous Food. Today we're going to be making a fruit crumble. So the first thing we need to do is to weigh our flour into our bowl. So remember, we put our bowl on our scales and we set it to 0. And then I'm using plain flour. Mrs. Halloran recommended wholemeal flour for a healthier choice. So that's what I'm going to put in my bowl. And I'm weighing out 250 grams of flour. If you haven't got wholemeal flour, you can use regular white plain flour. That's fine too. So there we are, 250 grams. And into that bowl we also need to add our butter, which has been cut into small pieces. So I did that about 10 minutes ago, just so it could warm up to room temperature, and that will make it easier to rub it in. So I'm going to pop that in my bowl like that, and then I'm going to teach you how to rub in. So we're going to be using the tips of our fingers, not the palms of our fingers. And if you put the tips of your fingers to your cheeks, you'll notice that they're much cooler than if you put your palms to your cheeks. So we want cool tips so that the butter doesn't melt. So we're going to put our fingers in the bowl. We're going to begin to break down the lumps of butter by mixing them with the flour. So you make sure that you've got some flour on your fingers at the same time. So can you see I'm just rubbing between my thumb and my fingers like that. So you've got to keep going. This takes quite a while. Make sure you get right down to the bottom of the bowl where all the dry flour will be hiding. And you keep going until your mixture resembles fine breadcrumbs. It does take quite a while, and you'll probably find that your fingers are beginning to ache. A good way of checking to see if you're ready is giving the bowl a shake, and you'll find that some lumps of butter will come to the top of the bowl, and you just need to keep mixing until you don't get any big lumps at the top when you shake your bowl. So I've rubbed my butter into my flour, and now I'm going to add my demerara sugar. So your scales, put your bowl on your scales and make sure it's set to 0. The recipe says demerara sugar. That's a kind of lovely crunchy brown sugar which will give lots of texture, but you could use any kind of brown sugar or a white caster sugar if you prefer. So 125 grams going into the bowl. There we are. Take the bowl off the scales. Using a spoon, just mix those two ingredients together. So go around the edge of the bowl, turn it into the middle like that, and then just do a few stirs through the middle of the bowl as well to make sure you've not got any dry flour at the bottom. We want everything to be mixed with the sugar, and that's the crumble topping made. So now we can start preparing our fruit. So your recipe states this is a fruit crumble, and we leave you to choose what kind of fruit you want to use in your crumble. These are Bramley apples, which are the traditional apple to use when you're cooking. They're quite sour, so we'll need to add some sugar to them, and we need to peel these apples because the skin on them is quite tough. If you're just using a regular eating apple, you don't need to peel it because the skin is much softer, and you won't need to add any sugar. You could use pears, you'd prepare them in the same way as we did for the fruit salad, or a whole host of other fruits, blackberries, raspberries. You can even put a bit of banana in crumble. It does go a bit mushy, but it does give a lovely flavour to it. So I do need to peel these, as I said. So in school we have two kinds of peelers. I have a straight peeler like that and a Y-shaped peeler. So I'm going to show you how to use both. So if you've got a straight peeler, the cutting blade is in the middle. You put it onto your apple and then you pull it towards yourself like that. So you could have a competition with yourself and see if you can go all the way around the apple and peel it in one go. I know that's quite a popular thing for you to have a go at school. Or if you're not that good at peeling yet, don't worry, you will get better as you practice. Just do it in little bits like that. Or if you're using a Y-shaped peeler, again the blade is on the inside, so you must make sure you've got the sharp bit making contact with the apple, and then you just pull it round like that and keep going until you've peeled all of your fruit. Remember when you've finished peeling your fruit to put all the waste into your compost box or into your food waste bin that's been provided by your local council. We don't want to waste anything. So now we've got a nice clean board to work on. So we're going to cut our apple in half to start with. So it's just like when we did the fruit salad lesson. We put our bridge hold over the apple to hold it still, and we put our knife through the bridge and just rock the knife down through the core until the apple comes in half. Put a flat side down on the board, bridge over the top, knife through the middle, flat side on the board. We're going to take the core out next, so our knife at 45 degrees, cut down towards the board, never cut into your hand. Just check, make sure that the cores come out. I've got a tiny little bit of peel left on that, a little bit of skin, so I'm just going to chop that one off so I know that piece is fine. I'll show you once more and then I'll carry on and prepare the rest of my fruit. I'm going to cut the core out, so knife at 45 degrees, cut down towards the board, check the cores come out, check there's no peel at either end of the apple, and then just carry on for the rest of your fruit. So once again, don't waste your cores, pop them into your food box like I'm doing, and then we're going to slice our apples up. So pincer grip this time on the top of your apple and just bring your knife across like that. Or you could cube your apples, in which case I'd use a bridge hold and I'd cut through twice like that. Turn it round, hold it together if you can. There's a challenge. Cut across like that. So with the bridge hold trick again, cut across like that. But if you can't hold them all together, you can break up each piece and dice it like that. And the only other thing to mention while you're preparing your fruit is you may find that you have nasty little bits or bruises on your apples. These aren't too bad, these have come straight from the supermarket, but if you're using fruit from a tree in your garden, they probably will have a few more bruises on. So for this one, I'd probably dice it up like that, and then with this piece here, that gives me access to cut out the nasty piece, remove that, and then carry on dicing. So keep going until you've prepared all of your fruit. I've finished preparing my apple, and you'll notice as soon as you start cutting the fruit, it begins to go brown. And we talked about this during the fruit salad lesson. That's called enzymic browning, and we need to cover the apple up as quickly as we can to stop the air getting to it, which is causing that reaction. So I've got my glass container that I'm making my fruit salad in. I'm going to tip all my apples in. Just spread them out like that. Make sure all the bits are broken up from where you cut them earlier. And then I've got 25 grams of granulated sugar measured out ready, which I'm just going to sprinkle on. Remember, I'm doing this because they're Bramley cooking apples, and if you're using pears or eating apples or any other fruit, you don't need to add that extra sugar. And then we're going to take our crumble mix, we're going to tip it over the bowl, over the dish, like that. So you can notice I've already tipped it in such a way that it's spread it out for me. And I'm just going to finish spreading with the spoon very gently all over the top of my dish. Now my dish is slightly too big for the amount of crumble that I've got, so the apples are poking through, but that doesn't matter. So make sure your crumble is evenly distributed and you've got your apples covered up as best you can. You've probably got a better sized dish than me. I would have needed to have made a bit more crumble to cover that one properly, but that's fine. So that's as far as we'd get in school, and we'd get you to take it home like that. Once you're ready to cook it, you're going to put it in a hot oven at 190 degrees or 170 degrees if it's a fan oven, and cook it for between 35 and 40 minutes. And then when it's ready, you could either eat it like that, or you could have some natural yogurt with it, or Greek yogurt, cream, ice cream, or just have it on its own. And we'd love to see some pictures of your crumbles. I hope you enjoy them. Bye bye.